Hakuna kuyaya, hakuna kuyaya, hakuna kuyaya.
Herbalism is something that's practiced in, by all indigenous peoples. Herbs were and are our first medicines. Water, food, and herbs, and the earth and prayer. Those are our first medicines, and they're on the earth, and as are we, and part of their role is to be our medicine. And so our ancestors were herbalists. Hi, I'm Dr. Katya Adachi Serrano. I'm the medical director at the San Ynez Tribal Health Clinic. Ho-chunk Rasha Mahichoinga Hingairena. I'm Ho-chunk from my mother's side, from the Thunder Clan. And we'll be talking about Fire Cider today. So I first learned about Fire Cider when I went to herbalism school. So after I finished my training in family medicine, I did an extra year studying integrative medicine, and included in that studying herbalism. And so in herbalism school, we learned about Fire Cider as an old indigenous recipe to parts of Europe, where they take different foods really and brew them in vinegar by soaking them over time as a way to extract the medicine from those foods, those herbs, and use their medicine in a more concentrated and potent form. And so we made the Fire Cider together, and you take the herbs that are most used are for their antiviral properties and for their properties in supporting the immune system. And so that includes things like onion, garlic, horseradish, and then you add in other things that are really good for the respiratory system. So herbs like rosemary, oregano, thyme, and then you add in other ones for also anti-inflammatory and for vitamin C, so like citrus, the peels of citrus. And then to give it an extra kick, you can add chili, and the chili will pull out capsaicin, which helps with pain and helps with inflammation. And so that combination is pulling out all of the medicine present in those herbs and those plants into this potent vinegar-based liquid that you take. And it's a really strong booster for the immune system, so it'll give your immune system a kickstart, and then they fight viruses and they fight bacterial infections, and then help decrease inflammation and the intensity of how your body experiences the illness it's fighting. And so Fire Cider is great to take when you first feel like you might be catching something. So you first get that tickle in your throat, or that stuffy nose, or that achiness, and you're feeling that feeling of, oh man, I think I'm coming down with something. That's the perfect time to take your Fire Cider. And you want to take it regularly, every 2 to 4 hours. If you're taking it out of a dropper bottle, then you'll take maybe 1 or 2 squeezes of the dropper, a dropper full, 1 or 2 dropper fulls every 2 to 4 hours throughout the day. Those first couple days you feel like you're coming down with something, and until the illness clears up. It's definitely an acquired taste. Not everybody likes Fire Cider. It's vinegar based, and then it's fermented, right? So you chop up the plants and the herbs, you put the vinegar in it, and then you wait 4 weeks. And so in that 4 weeks, a process of fermentation happens, and there's benefit from that fermentation because there's good bacteria that also help balance out your digestive tract and help balance out your system as a whole to be able to fight off other viruses and bacteria that we don't want there. Between the vinegar, the mild fermentation flavor, and then if you have chili in it, plus it's onion and garlic, it's definitely a strong flavor. You can take it straight, or you can mix it with water and then just kind of shoot it back. But the main thing is to make sure you're taking it regularly. And so the traditional way is you make this fire cider on a full moon so that you're getting the energy of that full moon and where the earth is at that time, and then you dig a hole and you bury it. So you're also getting the energy from the earth, and then being in a jar in the dirt, in the dark, allows that fermentation process to happen, and you wait 4 weeks. And then after the 4 weeks, you dig it up on the next full moon and strain it out. And so you only keep the liquid, but you strain out the other parts. And then the liquid is what you drink. But it's that period of time where it's sitting there that the fermentation happens. In our fire cider recipe, we have horseradish, which does a couple of things. It's definitely antiviral and helpful for the respiratory tract and clearing the sinuses. And then you have onion and ginger, which are immune stimulating and antiviral. And then ginger is one of our more potent anti-inflammatory herbs, and so it'll help also with cough symptoms, and can also help with fever. Lemons and oranges are included, and they also have antiviral properties as well as contain vitamin C. Garlic is another potent antiviral, antibacterial, and immune boosting. And then the cayenne has capsaicin, which is also helps with pain and helps with inflammation as well. And it's also a circulatory stimulant, and so it will encourage your body's to pump blood where it needs to go, and it can help with fever in that way. And then rosemary, thyme, and parsley, those are all what are called aromatic herbs, and so they contain volatile oils that help. They help both with the lungs and with the digestive tract, and so those volatile oils help to manage cough and can decrease cough. They fight infection, block viruses and bacteria, and they also help settle the digestive tract and can help with healthy digestion, decreasing spasms in your gut and in your airways. And so they're really good for the respiratory part of a cold or a flu that you may be dealing with. And so that combination is really just a potent combination of the different medicines in each of those plants that will support your immune system, fight off an infection, improve your circulation, decrease inflammation, and help your body fight and then recover from any illness that you may be facing. The reason herbalism was appealing to me in studying medicine was because I grew up with it, right? I mean, so, you know, for me, the first herb I think of is sage, and using our sage in ceremony, and how that, for me, it brings me home, and it brings me peace, and it brings me clarity and strength, and you know, I can smudge and be a completely different person and in a much better space because of the power of that medicine. And so, you know, I never thought about it growing up, but using herbs in ceremony is just part of it. And so herbalism is it's part of culture, and it's part of what we do. And to know more specifics about it is really meaningful, to be able to bring that into how I practice medicine and how I can care for people who are caring for their health, and definitely something to teach future generations so that we can remember that first medicine that we've always had, and realize that, you know, wellness and healing is not something that only happens in the doctor's office and only happens with taking a pill or having a procedure done or a surgery. That that wellness and health are things that are right in front of us, and just returning to that knowledge that our ancestors had.
Hakuna kuyaya.